In order to drive without the racing line in F1 2021, we must first understand its purpose. The Racing Line Assist is there to help guide you around the track by drawing a line on the road and showing you where to place your car. When you're new to the game, it's a great tool to have and many people leave it on. That being said, it's not always the best line to take through a corner. Ultimately, the Racing Line's goal is to safely guide you around the track. It'll recommend early braking and turning points to keep you on the road, but by relying on it, you're leaving a lot of time on the table. Also, you may not be able to see the racing line all the time. A car could be blocking it, or you could be racing in the rain where it's hard to see it at all. One more thing to watch out for is when you're chasing another car. If you rely on the racing line too much, it can be easy to forget about the car in front of you, and if they slow down early, you might run into them. Turning the line off forces you to focus on the track and your rivals more. It sounds challenging, but it's easy to do once you know the trick. The best way to drive without the racing line in F1 2021 is to understand what you want to do through a corner. The fastest way to drive a Formula 1 car is in a straight line, so when we come to the turns, we want to do that as much as possible. Turning too much will slow us down. The inside line is the shortest route around a corner. This is good, but as you can see, it slows the car down too much. The outside line lets you carry more speed through the turn, but the downside here is that you're also travelling a longer distance. Therefore, the ideal racing line is one that combines the speed of the outside line with the distance of the inside line. This is known as the out-in-out line and is the key to understanding corners. Start on the outside, turn in towards the apex, and then track the car out wide again to carry more speed. The easiest way to identify this is to look at the rumble strips lining each corner. Try to get your car close to these and you'll be in a good spot. This isn't the only line we can take, however, and there's another approach that's faster in some corners. Before we get into it, hit the like button if I'm helping, and let me know if you're going to try racing without the line. The out-in-out line will work for almost every corner in the game, though it's not always the best line. This is most obvious when the exit of a corner leads onto a long straight, like at a hairpin. If we are slow at the start of a straight, we lose time all the way down the straight, so getting a good exit is important. This is where the slow in, fast out line will help. For these turns you want to brake later and turn in later, tighter too. Your goal here is to take the apex and exit of a turn as straight as possible. You'll be slower on the entry to a turn, but faster on the exit and gain more time overall. If you're having trouble identifying which turns need this kind of racing line, head into time trial and pick a fast ghost as your rival. Then, in the time trial settings, turn on the rival telemetry mode. This draws a blue line on the road, showing you the best lines to take through each corner. Once you learn these, it'll be easier to drive without the racing line. Over time, you'll pick up what lines to take through each turn, even if you've not driven the track before. There's one more technique we can use to go faster though, and it's not an obvious one. Let's take a look. While our hands and feet are doing the driving, it's actually our eyes that play the biggest role in our performance. Where you choose to look will have a big impact on your lap times. Let's start with the easy stuff. When you drive without the racing line, you need to have some sort of reference for where to brake or turn before a corner. The most obvious place to look at are the marker boards. Keep an eye out for these as you go around the track and try to brake at the 100 meter board for each. This will slow you down enough for most corners, though for some you can brake at 50. Formula 1 cars have great brakes, don't be afraid to push them hard. Sometimes the marker boards get knocked down however, so we need a second reference. This can be any solid object, like the edge of a sign, a grandstand, a tree, or an overhead bridge. Avoid using shadows, as they can move depending on the time of day. Once you're comfortable using your eyes to spot your references, you can now use them to guide you around the track. As F1 cars drive so quickly, it's best to look as far ahead as possible, so that you can plan your moves well in advance. As you approach a turn, quickly spot your braking reference before looking at the apex. Now, with your peripheral vision, hit your braking point, and keep focused on the apex while you turn. Once you start to turn in, cast your eye past the apex and toward the exit. By placing your focus one step ahead of the car at all times, you'll be able to draw the ideal racing line and take it without thinking. That lets you focus on the task at hand, be it braking, turning, or accelerating. For help with all three of those, check out the guides on screen now, and I wish you the best of luck in your next race.